soccer game. And then number 2, we have to find some panfish flies to tie. So first, score of the soccer game. And the score is 1-0. Mexico is beating South Korea. It is in the 64th minute. I think they played 90, so there's a little bit of time left. Relatively low scoring. That's okay. The next thing is panfish flies. So I'll just Google it first. And here's some interesting ones. I think you have to, I'm more inclined to do like top water, but nothing beats a woolly bugger. So maybe we have to tie some of those. This is a triangle bug, not a big fan. I think this is cool, but I don't have any balsa. To me, this is too complicated. The fly fishers. Well, let's check it out. Maybe they got some stuff here. The indicator fly. And nothing's really speaking to me on this list. Check out the surface patterns. So the site I'm on is called theflyfishers.com. And it seems like they have just a very generic list. So we might have to improvise. I would love to kind of make something like this, but again, I don't have balsa and I have a limited supply of cork, and so it might be difficult. The mass hopper looks pretty. There's a pattern here called the mass hopper. It looks pretty interesting. It has a spiral wrapped abdomen. I don't know if you can see that. Spiral wrapped abdomen, and then something funky with the legs. I saw a leg concept I want to recreate, actually. So let's do that. We'll do a hopper with a leg concept that I saw. It was a cool leg concept. And I don't know if we'll do foam or we'll do something else. We'll just wing it. We'll just wing it. This is gonna be a little bit bigger pattern. I jacked up my finger playing basketball last night, so I don't know what it's gonna be like to tie with a messed up finger. The spiral wrapping the abdomen, how do I do this? I'm gonna need an extended body, and then Maybe I could wrap it on itself, actually. Let's experiment. Just use this green, and I'm gonna cut a triangle. I'm gonna roll it in my finger just to see what it looks like. See if we can get some kind of, maybe roll it this way. Idea is like a croissant style roll. Yeah, it works a little bit. Maybe shallower. Let's try it like that. It doesn't really have the taper. Try a thinner piece. And then let's try around a toothpick. And the trouble is getting it started. Oops. Yeah, you can get a little extended body, but getting the wraps that tight, God, that's gonna be tough. Gonna be tough. You could do some kind of solid piece, then wrap it around, but I don't think it's worth it for a hopper. The segmentation would be nice, but we'll live without it. I have an idea. But I need the right color for it. I'm not seeing the right color. Maybe orange and gray will work. So I'm gonna cut a strip of orange. And then I'll cut a strip of gray. And then we'll try to marry these together. And then we'll fold them. I'm just checking to see what it looks like. It's pretty beefy. Let's glue these together and then see what we got. glue them together. Let's get a little thread base down. I'm just gonna go with the white because I'm not really too invested in this. I'm gonna pierce it in the middle, halfway. That's good. It's not perfect. We'll take it out. Pierce it through, rotate, bring it back. We wanted the gray on the outside, so I now have to redo that. Gray on the outside. Orange on the inside. This is if you really like segmentation. Now travel the thread back, and we'll fold this over, create our first segmentation. A little too bulky, way too bulky, but there's still some hook gap. Let's go with it. And then sneak the thread inside. Wait, I should do it on the other, from this angle. Sneak the thread inside. I'm gonna put a drop of glue in there to prevent any spin. Then start the next segmentation. We don't have much taper, but my main concern was the hook gap rather. Travel the thread inside. Put a little drop in there. Create the segmentation. Tight, travel inside. No spin, which is good. How do we do the head? I think do we do the head one more segmentation? Or do we do something different? Let's try one more segmentation. Hopper profile is just body, legs. So you could just do body and then legs and no wing. So, skip a lot of the complicated stuff. Do we trim it out? Keep a little lip. Trim that shorter. We'll have to whip it. The hook eye is slightly exposed. We could do better. Knock some angles here. okay. And then tie in legs here, maybe with a little polypropylene or something coming off the back. But we can whip that. Come on. Cinch down, cinch down. We'll whip this. Let's get the legs on there. So for the legs, I'm just going to use these hackles. I think this would be a good one. And this would be a good one. We're going to need to knot this, but basically, so this is a wing technique. You sweep the hackles back, and then you see there's a wing shape. A lot of stoneflies are tied like this, caddis, but we're going to do it on the side. We're going to knot it and then kind of shape a leg. But it helps if the hackles are longer. The fibers are longer because you get a beefier leg. Like that's about the size, so that's where we have to sweep. And then the rest of this gets trimmed. I think maybe it makes sense trimming before you knot. So we'll try to trim that out. This is our separation point where we preened up. Then we can trim this out, creating the lower section taper for the leg. How close you get it is up to you. We could work on it. Then we can knot that up. Pass the tips through. Work the knot up. Work the knot up to our fibers. That's good. There will be durability. Obviously, there's durability questions here. Trim out the kneecap a bit. But the knot was a little bit high. I wanted it kind of further down, flush with the folded hackle, but we did a little bit high. Oh, we need to get our thread started here. I think I'm going to put them in right here. Maybe change the color. Yeah, change the color. Go with the red. Go with the red. Let's check the score of the game. And it's still 1-0 Mexico in the 83rd minute. Time's a ticking. Get our thread started again. Be nice if it extended one more segmentation. There's a way to do that, but This tie-in will be a little bit tricky because we got to keep the sweep. But I guess, no, I got to redo this leg. It's not going to play. I'm going to knot before. So we'll knot it up first and then we will. Let's strip some of this off, make our knotting easier. Knot up first. Oh, buddy. A little bit higher. Even that is pretty janky. You could just trim everything. Let's try one more time. If I can't get it, then it's just not meant to be. I'm gonna really try to get it right at that. Maybe you don't knot it. Interesting. Maybe you can just crinkle it and then glue it. Let's try that. So we'll preen, trim, bend, and glue. Okay, that's the trim. Now we need to bend. There's the bend. Maybe you don't even need glue. You just tie it in like so. Slightly longer than the body. Hold it in place. Yeah, kind of what I was thinking. We'll knock that off. We'll shape it better in a moment. Oh. My fibers are starting to come undone. Let's get them back. I think we've discovered this is not a realistic leg technique. That looks better. And trim this out. Let's get one more. It's gonna be hard to match that feather. That was a unique feather. See, it had wide furry barbs. So this one has wide furry barbs. We can save this for our next panfish fly we're gonna tie. We'll save that stuff. Let's preen. And then we'll trim. Let's get to length first. lock it a bit shorter. Give it a bend. Sweep it back. Place it. And lock it in. Ooh. Fancy. Okay. We gotta get these to length. And then we have to clean those up a bit. It's gonna be hard to do in the vise. Maybe a little bit of hair coming off the back. And we'll stack this. Give it a stack, quick stack. Clean it up a bit, and then trim the butts, give it a placement. And I feel like it's just I'm not even gonna tie this off. I'm gonna put a drop of glue on the thread. And I'm gonna sink it in that hair and just let it bind itself. The profile's not bad. Like, I think I can definitely catch a bluegill with this. But I just feel like it's missing something. But let's stop. Stop while we're ahead. Try to trim up the legs. And Now that the legs are on, they're not really agreeing. So the bends we made are all cockeyed and abstract. So this might go into the trash pile. Not a viable pattern. But once again, the profile is pretty decent. Okay, that was a horrible experiment. Horrible. Let's do a little bug. So the best, not the best, a popular bluegill pattern is the bully bluegill spider. And it's weighted such that I think the bend sinks, and then there are pieces of rubber coming at the top, off the top. And the reason that's important is because the bluegill will peck. So if you have a long tail on your pattern, they just kind of peck at the tail. But if you put your extensions or your delicates toward the eye, then they have a greater chance of taking. That's the theory. And then in terms of the weight, something on the fall is appealing to them. If you're not fishing on the surface, something on the fall is appealing. So we have our nice kind of what would you call this? The soft plumage of our saddle hackle, and so I want to tie a relatively short tail. It doesn't have to be too long. And we will tie that in, and we can trim this off. And honestly, that if you stopped here, that would catch a bluegill, without a doubt. But we'll try to make this a little bit more artistic. I'm thinking with some kind of rib, and then in keeping in line with the bluegill spider, something coming off the top. I don't want too much material buildup on the body. I actually want to keep it relatively slim. Even a wrap, body wrap, I think would be good. You could do a red mylar. because we tied the tailing material all the way to the eye, we have a nice taper to the body, a better shape. If you just trim off the tailing material here, then you'd have to build up that body shape, which is kind of a pain in the neck. So we'll give this a wrap. And then we can, it's not a perfect wrap, but it'll do. We can give it a coat, a light coat of, yeah, let's whip it and then coat it. We'll have to come back to this one. And the game's over. South Korea lost. But it's just the first group. Too bad. I don't know how many teams advance. But certainly a win in this, in the game would ensure that they advance. Not that I care. Sports are trivial. Fly fishing is trivial. All right, there we got a nice coat on our body. That'll help with the sink, and then it'll help with durability as well. The tail can get pecked apart. It'll be fine. Kind of clear out that eye. We chopped up these feathers. One good thing about feathers is they're really good for clearing eyes. You can just draw that through. Those fibers kind of pick up any excess. Yeah, nice and clear. So we'll set this aside and let that settle for a moment. I'd like to do one, I guess our hopper was a kind of a top water. But that solid, that bugle bug or that kind of sneaky Pete, that's what's talking to me. Make some kind of disturbance. I had trimmed out. Oh, no. Yeah, I think we can do something like this. The cylinders, foam cylinders are legit. But I don't have any foam cylinders. I just have big sheets of 2 mil, 4 mil, 1 mil foam. So I'm going to try to make a cylinder. With this strip, and put a little glue there, and fold it over to get it started. Whoa. Yeah, there we got it started. I'm gonna add some glue to the body here and roll that up like a cube. That's about as much as I need. I put too much glue, so I guess I could go a little bit more. Okay, like a cinnamon roll. The glue reacted. Which is interesting. I don't know if I have enough fluid in this lighter. But I want to kind of compress this. I'm going to heat it up. Let it dry down and just roll it. Ooh, that's hot. Kind of compress that foam down. I think that's enough. So that's a pretty good cylinder. We still have like open edges on the front and the back, and then there's this buildup of glue. I put too much glue on that started to react. So but we'll coat this with something to kind of fill those gaps. In the past, I would slit this and then kind of press it in, but I want to thread it. I'm going to try to thread it. Will it work? I have no clue. This is too big for a bluegill. The foam is too big for the hook, but I think bigger is because we can trim that down. Yeah, let's take some off. Where's my razor blade? Then we can shape it when it's on the hook. Where's my razor? So I'm going to use the razor blade and I'm going to take like 2 centimeters off it. Hopefully I don't whack off my finger. Piece of cake. Oh yeah, the inside is nice and man, I should have shaped it. God, what was I thinking? I should have put a slant and shaped the head. Missed opportunity. I'm just gonna pierce it now. Try to thread this on. Yeah, that worked. But oh man, the thread angle was not good. But No, we gotta redo that. I was gonna say maybe it would work, but I don't like. We gotta do better than that. A little bit better, but not much. A little bit better. We'll go with it. Okay. Let's get a little bit of thread build up here. And then we will tie off and secure the head. Then we put a little tail material. And maybe, if we're feeling adventurous, try to shape the body a little bit more. A little glue. Let's move that around. And then let's quickly get our head set. And then I'm pushing up, so it's binding toward the bottom. I think it might still roll because we were working it in and out too much. So it still might roll. Yeah, it's rolling, a little bit of roll. A little bit of roll. I gotta figure out a better way to do that. Let's shape before we do anything else. So that Sneaky Pete had like a nice kind of pointed head. And then I'm going to take a little bit off the sides. A little bit more. A little bit more. We hit our glue buildup point, which is not cutting very well. I'm just going for general shape. And then you can heat it up again and mold it. Get rid of all the angles. If we have enough lighter fluid. That's really rolling. Do I try to get the back taper? Back taper action. This is horrible. But I think you'll be surprised. We can salvage this. Okay. That's about as much as I want to do. That's good. Let's take it out and then heat it up. Focusing on this front. Don't burn your fingers, and then kind of mold that front head. Our cinnamon roll we've ruined the integrity of our cinnamon roll. Now we will hit the body. Careful, careful. Running out of lighter fluid. It's too wide, and I would work on it, but I don't think it's worth it at this point. I'm gonna put a drop in, try to lock this up a little bit better. I'll glue my fingers together. Should have done white, and then I could have really had a good paint job. Oh my god. Super glue on the fingers. Oh, we made a ball. We made a ball. But our ball doesn't roll anymore. Let's do the chartreuse. Let's do the chartreuse, and we'll just wrap this and then pinch wrap it. And that'll be our tail. Let's do it whoa, did we just, no, we knocked it off, okay. Let's do it the other way. And then we can wrap, travel the thread up. Good. Let's trap here. Let's see what this looks like. Not very good. But a couple coats. You might need a couple coats. You could thread legs and then glue eyes. And then they'd be done. Ooh. A bad experiment. We'll work on that another day. The round rubber might be too thick. Here's the silicone skirt. Maybe that'll work. I don't think you want those on there. Maybe. No, I don't think you do. Yeah, maybe we keep them. If it was keel weighted, it would sink. It'd sink vertical, and these things would flop on the descent. But we didn't add the keel weight. Ooh. Rough. No, I do not sell these, but I am stopping.